Hello, 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 and welcome to Shelah's time of the month. Yes, it's that time of the month, and it's third time's the charm because look, I've got these handsome gentlemen of all ages and colors and races sitting here with me on this time of the month. Can you see? Can you see them all? Yeah, and talking about races, today's very special time of the month where I go all aggro on the time. It's about sports and how important or unimportant sports is in Malaysia. So let me introduce my guests for today. We have over there, that's Ivan. He's an organizer of International Asian Edition of sporting events. This one sitting next to me, he's very cute, but he's not my boyfriend. He's a sportsman. I don't know what sport he plays, but after we ask him. And of course, this very distinguished gentleman is not my grandfather, contrary to popular belief. Hey. Yeah, he very lancy, you know. His name is Chris Syer. Syer, macam you and I. Syer, dia, Syer. And Chris is on the Malaysian Olympic Council. Are you still on the council?
Yeah, on the media committee.
Yeah, this very lancy. Chris is the only sepak takraw expert. Sepak takraw is the Malaysian sport of balls kicking. And he's the expert, not some local fella. It's him. And you see, he brought balls for us to play. Boys, today is all about the balls and the bat between my legs. So anyway, you have to watch this video. So here we are. I want to talk about sports and how important sports education is in Malaysia. So let me ask the young man, because I think he's younger than all of us put together. Hello, boy.
Hello.
Hi, Jimmy. So, what's sports like for you as you were growing up? Do you think there was enough education?
Not really. That's the lack. A lot of sports education is lacking. It's because of the safety issues.
Oh, you got a big accent. I'm so bothered now. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the safety issues of the warming up sessions and after sports sessions. So that is the lacking of the education, which most people are not aware of. So I think.
Do you also feel that maybe, especially nowadays in the younger generation of people that are going to the high school that is so useless most of the time, that sports is not have got an emphasis you know, you go PE, we have PE, but you just stand there and just kick the football, or you just stand under the net and pretend you're playing basketball, and that's the end of sports. And next thing you know, you have to become the world #1 in the squash before the country acknowledges you as a sportsman.
That's true, that's true.
Isn't it true?
Yes.
I mean, Chris, we just had this conversation before we came on air. I mean, she was very fortunate, Nicole David, to have had such great support leading up to her world #1 status and the acknowledgement of her existence in the country. But what about other sportsmen and other types of sports in our country?
Well, I think fundamentally here you have Nicole is the absolute epitome of what sports people should be. She's gentle, she's aggressive when she's playing, but off the court she's natural. She comes from a great family of support, and the family support was tremendous. But she had to go out on her own, as you know, in terms of going to to Europe. First of all, she's in Holland to train. But the family was the support rather more than the system, if you like.
Yes, they were always there, yes, rather than the system, which is what we're talking about today, the system. It's not that we're knocking down the system, but it just seems to be a little...
well, it takes a long... You see, there's a whole generation who haven't actually been brought up in a sporting environment. I mean, my big thing is sports culture, as you know.
And my big thing is between my pants.
Well, there you go, you see, and that's why I've got a golf club in my hand today, you know, in case of that big thing comes out. But as I was saying, it really is a question of understanding what sport's all about, rather than getting medals. Medals, of course, are great, but the emphasis for me is on sports culture, it's on fitness. It's the greatest integrator you can find. Yes. It crosses all borders. There's no question of country, class, or creed. Sport is a united.
It's a unifying agent.
You look at North and South Korea came out of at the Olympics holding hands. Apartheid in South Africa was broken down. You can see India and Pakistan play each other at cricket. They cross all borders.
Well, let's not talk about India and Pakistan playing cricket, because that one's quite violent towards the end of it all. Well, but I mean, it is true. It is this unifying agent, and it does bring people together for that moment of time. Which leads me to Ivan over there. As an organizer of an event, and you're organizing an event that's happening very soon in about 2 to 3 weeks' time. What is it like for you calling people, writing to them, and bringing them all together for this event that you're organizing?
It's kind of hard work actually. Especially when we are getting five countries coming together, and there's a lot of coordination works that we need to do. And being, I think that Asians, they have this kind of attitude. It's last minute. Until today, there are still people saying that, oh, I have a group, but I haven't got the list yet. We still want to sign up.
Is the game happening or not?
The game is happening.
Okay, because after you last minute, we cannot have
The show must go on.
The show must go on, because I'm opening and closing your event. Right?
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
So if you want to know more about what Ivan is doing and why Jimmy is here, because Jimmy will be busy doing things in this event, come to my Facebook page. I can tell you more about it. I can't tell you on air, on radio. So that one is, the bat between my legs and all that. So sports also. I mean, for you, sepak takraw. You're the sepak takraw expert. What happened?
Well,
how did it happen?
I wouldn't say I was the expert in sepak takraw, but I think Malaysia is one of the leaders of the sport. And people don't really understand in the European sense, in America and so forth, outside of Asia. Thailand and Malaysia are really very close to each other. But the physical input and the expertise and the fitness that you require, it's a very, very skillful game. And not only is it skillful in that sense, but it's very good for training, because it uses so much, every muscle in your body is used in the game in sepak takraw. But in Europe, people don't know enough about it, and so it's not marketed, if you like.
But what led you to it? What led you to this passion you have for the sepak takraw?
Well, I just believe it's got so much skill. It's integral part of Malaysian history, and that always interests me too. So I just like sepak takraw.
It's great. It's like that Chinese sport of kicking the feathers with your foot, kan? Did you play that as a kid?
No, never.
Where did you get your accent from?
Australia.
Ah, yeah. Oh. So you didn't play with feathers?
No. No.
No. So Ivan, did you play that game with the kicking of the feathers? Do you see the similarity between kicking the feather and kicking the sepak takraw?
I don't play, but I watch I watch people play.
Also, that's why you organizer lah. You see, that's why he organized. He don't play.
But you have to understand, to organise, you've also got to understand the sports that you.
He understands this. He understands the
Yes.
event he's organizing.
Yes, of course he does.
I think we all. So Jimmy, please tell us, what sport are you going to be involved in?
I will be joining the bowling game.
Oh, not
and-
swimming.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, bowling. That's quite fun. This is solo playing bowling or team bowling?
It's a team bowling.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Mm.
Wow, because the Asian bowlers around the 5 countries that are coming, I think Philippines, Singapore, Thailand. Is Hong Kong coming?
Hong Kong, yes.
Hong Kong is coming, and has Indonesia said yes?
Indonesia?
No. We just counted Singapore,
Yes.
Thailand, Philippines,
Hong Kong,
and Malaysia.
Malaysia. Also, the Indons are not coming.
Unfortunately, we are unable to get in touch with any of the groups there. So we still based on contacts from friends. So we are still hoping to get them coming. And unfortunately, this year China, Japan and Taiwan is unable to come.
Yeah, that's what. Because I know, Ivan, you've been involved with this gaming event for quite a number of years now, and it's
Yes.
always been held in other parts of Asia. So,
Yes.
how did you decide as the organizer to bring it to Malaysia?
Uh,
To Kuala Lumpur specifically?
Yes, last year because the last year game was held in Hong Kong, so I went to Hong Kong as supporters, and I basically in our group we have discussions like who will be the next host, and I proposed to them that saying that Malaysia wanted to host it. And this year is the 10th anniversary.
Oh, it's the 10th anniversary already of the Asian edition.
Yes.
Wow, you
Yes.
know your bowling lancing, no. Like I was saying just now before Ivan sidetracked me a bit. Bowling is a lot of players are very good. Are you good or not?
I just do it for fun.
Most of us do it for fun. But this is a sporting event.
Yeah.
Do you think you can win the bronze medal at least? How many people in your team? Can they play or not?
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, there's 4 in the team.
So you're the reserve.
I would not say so.
Stop rubbing your knee against my leg.
There's lots of different oils, don't you?
Lots of oils. Oh, look, the Wilson ball. Oh, by the way, this is very lancy. Chris brought this in. You see his assortment of balls. I have a table full of balls. So happy. He brought this one, this tennis ball, autographed by my favorite, all-time favorite player. No, not Steffi Graf, Roger Federer. Hello, Roger. Wie geht's? It gets me say, oh, good. Oh, sorry, I don't speak French. Hello, comment allez-vous? Ah, okay, I can't take this. I'm sorry, you shouldn't have brought this into the room. I get so sidetracked by Roger Federer all the time. He's playing uselessly, isn't he?
No, he's not playing uselessly. He's been beaten a couple of times, but he had a fantastic match against Djokovic, which he should have won.
Yes, which he should have won. He was 2 sets up, and then he let that monkey just come and whack him nicely.
Not only 2 sets up, he had 2 match points on his serve.
Yes, and then what happens? Oh, okay. And this is the second time he's done it at a Grand
Well,
Slam.
maybe he's caught you in the audience and he put him off.
I wasn't watching. My Astro's been cut off.
Oh.
I didn't get to watch it at all.
Oh dear me. Well, that's
Yeah. Of course, Nadal is just Nadal. I don't fancy his playing very much.
But they
anyway.
can't, you know, I think we must always remember, you cannot go on forever. I mean,
Yes.
Nicole, you mentioned her name earlier on, everyone assumes that she has to win every match that she plays.
No, no.
The pressure can be too much and she won't go on forever. So the most important thing, coming back to your other question, is there a backup
Yes.
in every sport that which we excel at? And it must not be forgotten that Malaysia, if we look at this sport, we have world beaters in archery, in shooting, in cycling, in bowling, in squash.
You heard that, Jimmy?
You know, so we have a much better record than many other countries in terms of world leaders. When it comes, and of course I didn't mention badminton, but of course that Lee Chong-wei is a hero in his own right. But if you compare that to where do we stand in national income, the minimum wages, if you compare investment, if you talk about GDP, you know, where are we in the world ratings?
Yes.
with our corporate hospitality? That's your field, Ivan. But in terms of corporate governance and so forth, where are we in the world in those things? And sport is way up, but we aren't a sport culture, and it's not a culture in our nation. And
I think it's the awareness that I think we should be starting to nurture, the awareness of sports as a whole. And of course, I think too much emphasis is placed on winning than actually training, grooming, providing the support and the backup. I mean, to organize is already hard enough. To play the sport, if you're not as fortunate as, say, Mr. Chong-wei, who gets silver medals and then gets a house and a car, and Nicole, who had such great family support, it leaves a lot of young, very full of potential athletes.
Out there, there are many athletes who don't get the opportunity because I mentioned the system earlier on, but they don't. How do you get to be up there? And I think one of the problems is that the whole generation where academic prowess has been more important than sport, which is not only a question of culture in terms of integration, but it's also in terms of health, you know, obesity and so on and so forth. But being a healthy nation is what we need.
Walking in shopping malls is not a sport, people.
But, well, you see, coming to Ivan's problem, which you mentioned earlier on, in terms of sponsorship, the corporate world, we're not leading in the world, believe me, in the world of sponsorship. Why? Because the corporate leaders of today are a generation of people where sport really wasn't a problem. But when people are going around, like Ivan, looking for, and indeed this week's tennis, looking for people to put their money in the pocket, to take money from their pocket to help sport, they don't see the ROI. Because their interest when they were kids was not sport.
And now if they do decide to give you the money, it's because of the glamour at stake, or the, you know, the whole, oh, guess what I put money into.
Well, you know, there's a thing called CSR, and I believe that's a very important part.
Yes, now it's not even called CSR, it's just CR. They've decided to take the S out of it so they can just leave the social gone.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. So, I mean, it's good that we still have people who organize things. Thank you so much, Ivan, and for including me in this edition of your sporting event.
We love you.
Thank you, Ivan. And Jimmy, so yeah. And we have Chris, who's been here for Lord knows how long. He was born and bred here during the Malacca days, I think. Who knows how
long?
Do
I look that bad?
No, you don't. I know some people who look worse.
I want to present this one to you.
Oh!
You can use that for whatever purpose.
A ball on a chain? What are you trying to say, Chris?
Well, you could put a key on the end if you're very...
You know what key I'm going to put on here? Oh, the Wilson US Open. Is it actually from the US Open?
It's just that's probably a bit of a gimmick, but for you, I thought you might like.
Oh my God. Also, I was very fortunate last year as my male self to host the Masters series where Ivan Lendl came. I got to see some of my childhood favorites. I love him.
His name is on here.
Yeah, he is. He's such a lovely man, Ivan. Dirty little bastard. But he's wonderful. I know, Ali, you can kind of censor that word, who cares, you know. But it's been wonderful, thank you so much. And I think what's important for all of you listening today and watching this video is, especially if we have children or teenagers, do encourage them to play more sports, just to take it up. It doesn't have to be competitive level. We don't have to fighting with each other. No need, because you can't buy medals in pavilion, isn't it? So you just enjoy the sport, play with each other. Like when we were kids, we used to play badminton over the fence. And a lot of you listening to this, I know you live in all these gated communities, so there's no traffic anyway. Your children can play badminton anywhere they want. Play the sport, kick some balls, encourage the fact that 17 A1s is not enough for an overall healthy lifestyle. You need to play some sports, whatever it is. I mean, Chris said so. It starts from that kind of awareness. If the schools don't teach you to play properly, then you teach your kids to play properly and you go out and play some sports. Eventually, some of you 30 years from now, after all of us are dead, would be the world #1 in Lord knows what sport. Volleyball, I don't know, diving. We also have some great divers, sorry, we only have 1 minute left of the show, but we have a great diver, the young little boy from the Sarawak, or Sabah.
And don't forget Pandalela,
yeah,
the young lady.
That young lady.
She's fantastic.
They're fantastic, and of course,
and world class. I mean,
and world class, you know, okay, fine, you know, everyone goes, oh, she's only number 20 something in the whole listing. Excuse me, there are thousands of divers around the world. She's at number.
Qualified for the Olympics.
She qualified for the Olympics, and yet she didn't get a BMW. That's what I question. I question that. She made it to that sporting event and did us proud. We had all of 2 seconds coverage on her doing the one dive. I tell you, sometimes I don't know what's going on. But really, thank you so much, gentlemen. Now, I wish you much luck in the next few weeks. I'll be there at the bowling alley wondering what you're doing. And Ivan, I wish you much luck in organizing this event. For those of you who want to know what he's organized, come to my page, I'll tell you all about it. Don't forget, it's Shelah on Facebook. You just look for me, or you tweet me, because I know all of you are doing it. And Chris, thank you so much again for being with us in Malaysia for all these years, and
my pleasure,
and being so wonderful with us.
Well, it's nice to be. I'm honoured to be with you, I tell you. It's been a great day for me. Thank you.
Great day for us too. But really, thank you for being and living here in Malaysia. You want me to play with the bat, Ali? Ali wants me to lift the bat from between my legs. Whose team are you betting for? That's right, it has been Shelah's time of the month here on Shelah Talks. Next week we'll return with a normal episode where I only talk and you don't see my pretty face. But thank you so much for watching this video and for listening to the radio show. And don't forget, I'm on podcasting on iTunes. The only drag queen, no, actually no. I'm the only Malaysian drag queen with her own podcast on iTunes. It's so exciting, can't? Alright, so everyone have a wonderful weekend. Until I hear from you again, be fabulous, Malaysia.